All right, welcome everybody. So in this lecture, we're going to review the brute force solving paradigm. Okay, the brute force problem solving paradigm. So what is a brute force? Let's write that, brute force. Brute force is basically to test all possibilities, and then choose the one that satisfies a certain condition, okay? Let's say, for example, we want to find all the numbers, ni less than, I don't know, all the numbers between 1 and n that are dividers of n. It means that n modulus I equals 0. So in order to find all of these numbers, we have to test with all different possibilities, all numbers, and every time check whether a certain number satisfies the condition or not. If it is, then, well, we print it. Okay? So let's write a simple algorithm that does this. So for I starts from 0 up to n, okay, if n modulus I equals 0, it means that I is a divider, okay? So let's print I. And if and end for. Okay? So basically, this is an example of brute force. Now, brute force should be considered or applied for small problems or for problems where we do not have any other choice, okay? Because brute force is usually the worst solution. Okay? Brute force is the worst solution because it tests all the search space. It searches all the search space, okay? It tests all the possibilities, which usually take a lot of time. Okay, here's another example. Let's say you have a graph, and if you do not know what is a graph, then don't worry, okay? You don't have to be familiar with this. So graph is a simple data structure that represents a network, okay? So let's say this is a simple network. Let's say this is a city where these arcs here are just the roads and the points here are the cities, okay? The city, yeah. So inside this big town, let's say we want to go from city A to city 4. What are the possible, how many different possible way, how many different possible route, how many different possible path can we go from in order to reach that city 4, starting from 1? So we can go from 1 to 2 and then from 2 to 4, that's 1. From 1 to 2 and then from 2 to 3 and then to 4, that's another possibilities. Can go from 1 to 3 and then from 3 to 2, that's another possibilities. You can go from 1 to 3 and then from 3 to 4, that's another possibility. Okay? So basically, to compute how many possibilities we have, brute force tells you to test all possible solutions, test all different paths. Okay? And whenever you find a valid path that has successfully taken us from the starting city to the destination city, then we add 1 to a counter. Okay? We consider that path another path. Okay? So basically, that's brute force. Now, to solve this problem that I mentioned here, there's of course more efficient ways to do it. Okay, we're gonna cover that in graph algorithms and the graph theory, but what I want you to know is that the brute force should not be considered the first solution, okay, to work with. Okay, but almost every algorithm that has a brute force solution does also have another more efficient solution, okay? Here's another example for brute force algorithms. Let's say, for example, you have some function, okay? Let's say you have some function. So this is a mathematical function. And here we have x, and here we have f of x, okay? And we want to find the maximum of this function, okay? So basically what we can do is start with x here, so that's x, and you calculate f of x, okay? And then you calculate another f of x, and you take that, you calculate another f of x. So you calculate a bunch of f of x's, and basically you always keep track of the maximum. So for example, this last f of x have delivered the maximum value. We keep searching, we keep searching, we keep searching, we try all different possibilities until we get what we're looking for, okay? Until we get the criteria we want. So this technique is called brute force. And this type of problems is called optimization problems. Because we have some function that we want to optimize, we're looking for the maximum of this function. We're looking for what is the x that when we take f of x of it, we find the maximum. So one technique to solve this problem is through brute force. Okay. All right. Basically, that's that were an introduction to the brute force technique. Whenever throughout the rest of the tutorials, whenever we have to deal with some problem that should be solved with brute force, or that we're solving using brute force, then I'm gonna mention that. Okay, and that's it for this video. See you next time.